today I'm going to show you how to wind a bobbin and thread a machine. This is the machine. I wanted to just show you a little bit about the machine. We have two gauges up front here on the top. The outside ring turns and gives you a zigzag. The further you turn it, the wider the zigzag is, and the smaller you have it, the smaller the zigzag is. The second, in the middle here, this tells you where the needle placement is going to be. Usually you're going to want it to be centered. However, you can have the opportunity to turn it 2 spaces to the left or 2 spaces to the right. So therefore, you can move this to the left or to the right, which we will do in some later stitches. This is the buttonholer, which we'll talk about later, and then this is our stitch length. So you have your stitch width, which is how wide the stitch is, if it's a zigzag stitch, how wide it goes, and your stitch length, how far it goes, or the distance in between the stitches. And then the bottom here, you have, again, 2 different adjustments. One would be an adjustment for different stitches that are up here, the green and the red. Mostly you'll use the green. The red is usually decorative. And then over here, on the middle here, we have whether it's the dog feed, which is this. Let me just show you this. The dog feed is this that pulls the fabric through the machine. As you see, it goes down, drops, and then comes up in the front, and then moves the fabric back. You can see how it moves the fabric back as you turn your hand wheel. This is your hand wheel. You're always turning your hand wheel towards you, never backwards. You never want to go this direction, because when you do it in that direction, what happens is the machine gets tangled and the thread will become tangled. Okay, so those are some of the basics of the machine. As we go, I'll show you how to do additional things and how to set your machine as we go. All right, so we're on the green stitch, which right here is either a straight stitch or a zigzag, depending upon my setting on the outside ring here. I want this centered. A buttonhole is always going to be at 0 unless you're doing buttonholes. Your stitch length is going to be usually between 2 and 3. And of course we're on the green, and we want our dog feed, the dog feed, to be moving. Okay? All right, so today we're going to learn how to wind our bobbin. This is the Bobbin Winder. I put my bobbin on there. This is the thread, and I put that on the thread spool pin. Okay? So we put our thread on our spool pin. There is a tension guide, because if this does not have tension, it's not going to wind correctly. This is the tension guide, and on the top of it you can see there is an arrow that goes around, and it shows me that I have to put it in here and goes around this way. So I'm going from the front around to the back and then through, and then there's tension on the spool. I'm going to pull this off so that I can put my thread through the middle of the bobbin. And notice the thread goes actually through the middle of the bobbin, through the center part there, and my top, coming out of the top. This will allow this thread to spin onto the bobbin rather than under the bobbin or over the bobbin. Then the second part, we want to push this to the side, okay? Push this to the right hand side. that engages the bobbin winder. On the outside of your sewing machine, you may have a device that will disengage your needle from coming up and down. That is this rim. I should be able to, and I can't do it, unscrew that, and it will disengage the needle. However, mine is tightened too much, so I can't do it. So what I'm going to do next is just wind this bobbin, and this is where you can go as fast as we want to go and not have a problem. So we're going to go fast. You'll notice that my top thread comes off. The twist of the thread itself twists it off and cuts the thread. You'll notice that it starts to slow down when it gets full. It usually pops off. Okay. Let me just do that again as if it's done. Right? All right. I'm just going to cheat a little bit here because I just kind of did it. All right, let me just pull this off. When you're finished, you want to pull the bobbin, and there's a cutter here that you can just pull it off and cut it.